It is Thursday. Don't remember the day. But today we're going to be bleeding the brakes on the Subaru. After changing the brake pads yesterday, I kind of screwed with the amount of brake fluid that was in each line. And it kind of screwed with how it was braking. So today we're going to fix that. We're going to bleed the brakes. We got everything laid out here on the table, so we're going to run through it real quick. We've got a drip pan to catch any excess brake fluid. I've got this little this little brake bleed catcher thing, a variety of hoses because I'm not sure which one's going to fit. 2 new bottles of Motul 660. It's DOT 4 brake fluid. 10 and an 11 spanner because I don't remember which one it is. Torque wrench to retighten everything. Jack bar, I don't know why I have that up here. Brake bar to break lugs loose, and the Motiv power bleeder. Since I am doing this by myself, this makes life a lot easier. We'll walk through how to use this. It basically pressurizes the system, and then lastly oh, well, that wasn't supposed to happen. And then an impact just to take off the lugs. So we're gonna get the power bleeder set up. When you get the power bleeder set up, you're going to locate your master cylinder reservoir. Go ahead and remove the cap. Set that aside. In mine, I have a small little filter, so I'm going to pull that out as well and set that just inside of the cap. Make sure you have a rag nearby to wipe up any of the excess brake fluid. This stuff is extremely corrosive and will eat through paint and whatever it ends up dripping on. So with the cap off, we have our attachment on the power bleeder. We're going to put the supplied cap onto here and then pressure test the system. The cap attached, we have this small pressure gauge on the front. We're going to make sure this top lid is tight so no air leaks out. Then we're going to pressurize this to 1 bar or 15 psi, and we're going to leave that for 10 minutes and make sure we don't have a pressure drop. Power bleeder is pressurized to 1 bar or 1 psi. So with that, we're going to let it sit for 10 minutes and come back and make sure that pressure hasn't dropped. While we're waiting the 10 minutes for the pressure bleeder to pressure test, we're going to go ahead and pull the back right wheel off, or the passenger rear wheel off. Go ahead and we're going to start on that caliper. There's a bleeding order for this car. It's going to be the rear right, rear left, front right, front left. So you're going to go in the order of whichever caliper is farthest away from the master cylinder, so that way you push all the air out and work your way forward. With the Brimbos, there's 2 bleeder valves, but we'll cover that once we get over here. So now that we've verified that the power bleeder holds pressure at 1 kPa, we're going to open the top and break the seal to let all the pressure out, and then we're going to throw in some of this Motul 660. And go ahead and set the top aside, and then open up your new bottle of brake fluid. With your new bottle of brake fluid open, you're going to go ahead and pour it into the power bleeder. Make sure not to spill. Alright, I only poured about half of this in right now. If we need more, we can add more. The pressure handle, screw back in and repressurize back up to 10 psi. So we're a little above 10 psi, we're at 12. So with this, now we're going to hop over to the wheel and start bleeding the brakes. Now that we have access to the caliper, again, this is a lot like yesterday's video, but whatever, it needs to be done. So why not vlog it? So we have 2 bleeder valves, one here and we have one on the back side in the same spot. When bleeding these, you're going to want to start with the outside, work your way in to get all that air out of the line. So go ahead and pull this little dust cap off. I pull it all the way off so it's completely out of my way, as you can see. Set that aside because I am going to need to put those back on. So the only line that I have is some of this 3/8 air line from my air suspension, so I'm going to be using that. So I'm going to go ahead and get this guy on there, Jesus. Slide it over the nipple. I said nipple. And then rotate it down. And what you're going to want to do is open this. And then close it. See? Almost no fluid came out of that. Which is a little difficult to see, but let me move my hand here. No fluid came out of that one. So you can kind of see it dripping there. So we're going to set this to loosen again. And open this valve back up to let more of that air and fluid out. So now we have a steady stream of fluid, so we're going to go ahead and close that valve back up by going the opposite way towards the inside of the car. Make sure it's fully closed. Let that drip for a minute. Now, one thing you do not want to do is over tighten these bleeder valves. I've had an STI in the past where someone over tightened these bleeder valves and they completely snapped off inside of the caliper. I wasn't able to drill them out, so I had to buy new Brembos, so one thing to be cautious of. So we're gonna go ahead and open this valve up one more time and do this again. And there's our fluid. So now that it's coming out in a steady stream, we're gonna go ahead and close this. Alright, so with rag in hand, you're going to want to go ahead and pull this hose off while holding the rag over it like so. Jesus Christ. Oh. Don't be like me. Don't cover yourself in brake fluid. So, well, now that we got this one done, let's go ahead and wipe this down. I'm going to make sure this is tight, which it is. Spray down the outside of this just to get any of that brake fluid off so it doesn't eat through the caliper. And put our dust shield back on for this side. Cover that guy up. Give it one more wipe down over here. And now we're going to do the inside. So the inside is going to be the exact same as the outside. Alright, my attempt to get the camera back on the other side was a failure. So I'm going to do the back side with the camera here and you can kind of get the gist of it. Remember to make sure to get off as much as you can. The brake fluid will eat through anything it touches, the paint, everything. So make sure you give it a good clean when you wipe it down. And then once you have that, go ahead and put your dust cap back on. And we've bled the first one. This is the passenger rear, so this one's done. We're gonna jump over to the passenger driver's side, or the driver's rear, and knock out that side. So I'm gonna throw this wheel back on and then we'll get over there. The front brakes are very similar to the rear. We have one dust cap here, one dust cap on the back, both 11 millimeters. So let's get started. We're going to pull. Alright, with it clean, put our dust shield back on and then do the last caliper. Grab your torque wrench, make sure it's set to 80 foot-pounds. We're gonna go through, tighten up the lug nuts real quick. All right, now that we've got the brakes bled, we're gonna go ahead, pull it out into the driveway and make sure it stops. Oh man, I am filthy. Alright, as you can see, the car obviously stopped, so we got the brakes bled, so it is job well done. Coming up, we have some suspension stuff coming in tomorrow's video, so that'll be a lot more performance oriented than just doing some routine maintenance, but you can't get to the fun stuff until you do the basic stuff. So I appreciate everyone stopping by once again. Thank you, and please like and subscribe below. I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Peace out.